We promised to grow old together on a quiet evening when the world felt gentle. There were no dramatic speeches, no grand celebrations, just two people sitting side by side, believing love alone was enough to defeat time. She rested her head on my shoulder and spoke about grey hair, slow walks, and shared mornings that would stretch endlessly into old age. I believed her without hesitation. At that moment, faith came easily. Our life was simple but full. We built routines that felt sacred, late-night talks, shared meals, soft laughter after difficult days. I trusted her the way one trusts the sunrise, never questioning whether it would appear. She became my home, my constant, my safe place. I never imagined that something so warm could slowly grow cold without warning. But love rarely disappears loudly. It fades quietly, hiding behind small changes that seem harmless at first. She started returning home later than usual, her phone always face down, her smiles shorter and distracted. I noticed, but I chose silence over suspicion. After all, love means trust, doesn't it? I told myself she was tired, that life was heavy, that relationships naturally changed. I ignored the distance growing between us because I was afraid of what honesty might reveal. Somewhere inside, a voice whispered that something was wrong, but I silenced it with memories of our promises. She stopped looking at me the way she used to. Conversations became brief, affectionate words replaced by polite ones. Yet she still said she loved me, and I clung to those words like a lifeline. I didn't realize that love spoken without presence slowly loses its meaning. What hurt most wasn't the change itself, it was how invisible it felt. I was still there, still loving her completely, while she was slowly leaving without saying goodbye. I didn't know that our forever was already cracking beneath the weight of secrets. That was the tragedy of our beginning. We promised eternity without realizing how fragile humans truly are. I believed in us with everything I had, unaware that love can survive distance, but not dishonesty. The truth never arrives gently. It comes when you least expect it, carrying the weight of every lie you ignored. I discovered her betrayal not through confrontation, but through absence. She was no longer emotionally present, and that absence spoke louder than any confession ever could. There was someone else, not in the way movies dramatize, but in the way reality quietly destroys. Late messages, hidden smiles, emotional intimacy she no longer shared with me. It wasn't just infidelity of the body, it was infidelity of the soul. And that kind of betrayal cuts deeper. When I finally asked her, she didn't deny it. She didn't defend herself either. She simply looked tired, as if carrying a secret had exhausted her more than the truth ever would. She said she never meant to hurt me. But betrayal doesn't need intention, it only needs neglect. I felt foolish for trusting so blindly. Every memory replayed itself differently now, each moment tainted with doubt. I questioned my worth, my love, my efforts. Was I not enough? Or was love never meant to be permanent? She said she was confused. That she still cared for me. That she never planned for things to go this far. But betrayal doesn't care about explanations. Once trust breaks, it doesn't shatter loudly, it collapses inward, leaving emptiness behind. Despite everything, I didn't walk away immediately. Love makes you do strange things. I tried to understand, to forgive, to repair something that was already breaking. But forgiveness requires honesty, and honesty had already left our relationship long ago. The hardest part wasn't her choosing someone else. It was realizing that I was fighting alone. She had already left emotionally, and I was just catching up to the truth she had accepted long before. Infidelity didn't end us instantly. It poisoned us slowly, day by day, until love became exhaustion and hope became denial. Just when I thought betrayal was the deepest pain I could feel, fate proved me wrong. Before we could fully confront our broken relationship, life intervened in the cruelest way possible. She fell seriously ill, unexpectedly, rapidly, unfairly. Everything else suddenly felt small. The anger, the betrayal, the unanswered questions, all of it faded beneath the fear of losing her forever. I stayed by her side, not as someone demanding explanations, but as someone who still loved her despite everything. In those quiet moments, the past didn't matter. There were no accusations, no arguments, only shared silence and unspoken regrets. She apologized without words, and I forgave without conditions. Some truths don't need to be spoken to be understood. She held my hand and whispered that she was sorry, not just for the betrayal, but for wasting time we could never get back. I realized then that infidelity doesn't only hurt relationships, it steals moments that can never be relived. When she passed away, she took with her every unresolved feeling, every unfinished conversation. There was no closure, only acceptance. Love didn't end because of betrayal, it ended because life decided our story was finished. Grief arrived differently this time. It wasn't loud. It was heavy, silent, and permanent. I mourned not just her death, but the future we once imagined, the old age we would never reach together. Fate didn't care about our mistakes. It didn't give us time to heal or start again. It simply took her away, leaving me with memories that hurt more than anger ever could. Now, I live with memories instead of promises. I've learned that love can be imperfect, that people can make devastating mistakes and still be deeply human. Infidelity taught me about betrayal, but loss taught me about forgiveness. I no longer hate her. I remember her as she was before everything broke. Because holding on to anger feels pointless when the person you're angry with is gone forever. Life has a way of humbling us when we think we still have time. We promised to grow old together, but fate had other plans. And perhaps the lesson wasn't about forever. It was about honesty, presence, and valuing love while it still breathes. Some loves don't last a lifetime, but they leave lessons that do.